Problems Boeing is facing is CNN safety analyst and former FAA safety inspector David Susi. David, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your take on Boeing's delay in turning over the names of those employees who were on the door team? What do you think about that, and what should the government do next in this investigation?
Well, there's a couple of things here with those names. What was asked originally was that what names provide the names of the people who may have information about the door. So Boeing did that, and now they're being asked to provide all the names of anyone that ever worked on the door, which is 25 individual employees. So the fact that Homendy is saying they're not cooperating or that they didn't provide something that was asked of them, that's simply not true. It was provided exactly the way that it was asked, and that's what Boeing did. So I'm not sure that there's any kind of lack of cooperation on the behalf of Boeing. However, the fact that there was undocumented work done on that aircraft is an extreme violation of the Federal Aviation Administration rules, and that falls under the FAA as far as punitive damages and any other things that could be done. Penalties, large fees against Boeing for doing so. So that's another issue. It has nothing to do with the NTSB other than the NTSB makes recommendations for what should be done about it, but the FAA is the enforcement agency that will take action.
Well, do you see this lack of documentation actually leading to something punitive here? And then now that the NTSB has those names, at what point do they get on the ground and actually start talking to these people?
Well, they should have done interviews with literally everyone involved at this point, and that's a little confusing to me that the NTSB would be asking for this documentation at this point about who these people are. When you do an investigation, when the NTSB does one or the FAA does one, they go in and they interview the people. We sit down at the desk and we talk to anyone involved, ask for names of other people that may have been on the shift that weekend. I am confused as to why that depth of investigation hasn't already been completed by the NTSB. But as far as sanctions, your question about sanctions and what should be done here, the FAA can charge sanctions for up to $25,000 per passenger for any violation of safety. In other words, they put that aircraft in the air with people and put them in danger. So they could be looking at severe fines of $25,000 per passenger, and not just for that flight, but for every flight that occurred since they left those bolts out. So we could be talking hundreds of millions of dollars at this point.
Yeah, that is significant. Well, the FAA, your former employer, found multiple problems with Boeing's production practices following a 6-week audit. That audit, of course, triggered by the door plug blowout. The FAA identified non-compliance issues in Boeing's manufacturing process control, parts handling and storage and product control, according to a statement that they put out. And in a separate report before the door plug incident, it found gaps in Boeing's safety culture, even saying that employees were fearful of coming to management about safety concerns. I mean, how big of a deal, how much of a problem is that for a company that builds jets?
Well, it is a big problem, and it has been a problem not only with Boeing, with other manufacturers as well, in the fact that you're basically employed by your person. They write your check for you. So if you do something that your immediate supervisor doesn't agree with, it could cost you your job. So regardless of whether it's safety or not, that's a concern. So to get around that, what we do is the FAA requires that there's a safety valve that goes back to the senior executives of the company, where you can make a safety report up above your immediate line of supervision and go directly to them anonymously as what we call a whistleblower. So these whistleblower positions are extremely important, and the fact that it's being discovered now that channel, that the employees didn't feel that channel was there, and some of them didn't even know that channel was there, that does speak really loudly that there is a safety culture problem there at Boeing that we've known about for years. Now, they have made some management changes there that I think are going to make a huge difference. Katie Lund, I think it is going to be taking that over. And that's something that's long been needed, is a quality person that speaks directly to the employees on that line.
Okay, and I want to make sure to get to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 because you literally wrote the book on this. Yesterday marked 10 years since its disappearance. Have there been any sort of technological advancements, any new information coming in, anything that gives hope to possibly closing the chapter on this aviation mystery? For the family, of course.
There actually is, and I want to take just a moment to say how hard this must be for the families, the hearts. I mean, even I was just involved from a reporting aspect, and it really tugs at my heart the fact that it's been 10 years. And I want to condole those families and friends that have lost people from this. But that being said, there is hope on the horizon because Ocean Infinity has come up with some new technology. It's secretive. They won't even tell me what it is. But they do plan to go back out again. They've made a proposal to the Malaysian government that says no fine, no fee. That's what their mantra is. And that's a $100 million gamble they're making, that they think that this new technology can find something now at this point, which would be a welcome bit of information for these families who've lost people.
Yeah, that closure certainly needed. David Susi, thank you for your time.
Still to come, an agency responsible for cybersecurity is hacked. What happened and what the hackers accessed? Next.
You're finally mastering Grandma's 12-hour sauce. Your stovetop gave out in the 11th hour.